We have started to record the most recent session of SPCH 1113, Introduction to Public Speaking, for the first summer session. This is Demonstrative Speech Week. It is Monday, June 2nd, 2025. I'm starting in a slightly different location today for this reason. Now that we have the official rosters on Blackboard, I can put together a document that shows not only the days in which we are going to be speaking during the first term for all of your presentations, Wednesdays or Thursdays, but you'll notice that I give you an option. So when you look at the screen, it says day 1 or day 2 for the demonstrative speeches, which start on Wednesday, the 4th, and continue on Thursday, the 5th. So for the 9 people who are in this class, you can see your names on the screen. You can also see at the bottom, here's what I say, quoting, speech videos or links to videos are sent no later than 2 p.m. each Wednesday or Thursday to either my SAU email address, which is jereppert@saumag.edu, or profjamesreppertsau@yahoo.com. Please keep me appraised regularly so I can assist during your speech preparation. So when you're looking at this, and it's also now available on Blackboard, you have the option of speaking on Wednesday or on Thursday. As I look at my clock, it is a little after 2 p.m. on Monday afternoon as I record this. Keep in mind that I don't have you assigned to a particular day. Some of you may be ready with your demonstrative speeches on Wednesday, and that's fine. Get them to me, as you can see on the screen, no later than 2 p.m. because I'm going to be recording, like today, a little bit later in the afternoon, so I can take each of the 9 presentations, whether you send them to me on Wednesday or Thursday, and play them all in class and record and show what people have been doing. Let me show you something else. What you currently see on the screen is the SPCH 1113 file for my basic public speaking course. This is the alternate email address that I showed you. You can see that I save everything. So if I wanted to look at a demonstrative speech that someone sent me last year, this was actually sent to my SAU email address and I forwarded it over here. So I could open that in a separate window and play it if I so chose. Now let me go to the student preview mode on Blackboard. It looks slightly different for this reason. Under course syllabus, you have the syllabus itself, the course itinerary, which we've looked at before, and the course speech schedule. This is what I was showing you at the outset in a slightly different context. When you're on Blackboard, just make it bigger, scroll down just a little bit, and you can see all of the data in this location at the Blackboard student preview mode. Demonstrative, June 4 and 5. With those speech videos, again, sent by 2 p.m. each Wednesday or Thursday. There's my SAU email address, which you can see is highlighted when I scroll over it. And the same thing here. I wanted to begin the class session by going to a slightly different location so you could see this in larger font. Now, let's go to our course itinerary. What we will be doing this week today is research, Tomorrow is topic selection. In a few minutes, I am going to show you 3 representative examples from summer sessions in 2024, 2023, and 2022 of student demonstrative speeches where they had exactly as much time to prepare as all of you will. A little bit of housekeeping before we get to that location. So as I scroll down, keep in mind that each of these presentations is going to be worth 20 points with a total of 100 points for the course. And then we go A, B, C, D, F with the 90, 80, 70, 60 grading platform. Artificial intelligence is permitted, especially if you're trying to figure out, which we'll talk about primarily tomorrow in topic selection, how you can put slides together in such a way that's going to maximize your respective abilities to be extemporaneous, because that's where the conversation flow. There's a link to my website, a link to my X platform, a link to the SAU email address, and to the alternate email address from the syllabus itself. So let's leave it right there for the time being, with the demonstrative speech being worth 20 points beginning on Wednesday of this week, Canva or Google Slides. If it turns out you want to do something on PowerPoint, that's acceptable, but make certain that you are incorporating your webcam into the slides. But 4 to 5 minutes, and I think that's fair for a class like this. You remember the other day when I was showing you Loom. Now let's go here, session 1, session 2, session 3 of the instructor course videos. I'm going to click on this, and this is now opening in a separate window, which I will show you in a moment. And here it is. The advantage on the right-hand side to using the Loom platform is that, at least in my case, and I had mentioned last week that I pay $20 a month for this because it is the most user-friendly to me. Let's go ahead and examine bits and pieces, leaving it this size, not going here, full screen, what we discussed on Friday. We have started to record the most recent session of SPCH 1113, Introduction to Public Speaking, for the first summer session. Our only Friday session is today, May 30th, 2025. I want to do a variety of things looking at effective content delivery and visuals, but because we have our first graded presentations coming up, demonstrative, Wednesday and Thursday of next week, it's important that you start to acquaint yourself with the different types of recording options that are going to be using your webcam in either Google Slides or Canva. So before we get to, I would, if I were you, always record multiple takes for graded presentations and then notice what's going to work best for your storytelling. Where are you going to place the webcam? Also, the advantage, as you're well aware, is that muting the video, you can see whether or not you come across as believable, as extemporaneous, as conversational, knowing what you're talking about. And at least in my case, with a transcript, I can see whether or not I am practicing what I preach in terms of speaking incomplete sentences. Let's unmute the audio and just scroll through bits and pieces of Friday's class session. Session 2, Thursday, previously provided links to the videos that had been
mode. You can use your keyboard arrows to navigate your slides. And once you're satisfied with your recording, you can click finish and you'll be instantly redirected to your video share page. From your video share page, you can...
I'm going to mute her voice for the time being because remember, when you are on Blackboard, you can access this link to Loom. There are a variety of different processes that you can utilize for graded speeches, and that's why I wanted to show you 3 different examples from the summer during today's class, just so right now you can continue to experiment, because you'll be putting your slideshows together and then trying to figure out where you want to place your webcam. Let's bring the audio back up and just scroll to the end eventually. To this part of the student preview mode, Loom, or outside the classroom, the way that I am here. There is no fakery. There is no disingenuousness. This is me. Then when we get to your visuals, your slides, is the design uniform in terms of color, font style? All of that really does matter, because that combination of font, color, visuals is going to, depending upon if you're more visually oriented.
Here's an example of what my silhouette cameo for looks like. It's what we'll be cutting for you. And that is the green is what the cutting board looks like. And here's the scissors and the weaving tool. And the silhouette logo, that is what the app will look like whenever you begin to start.
It's back to me in real time on Monday. Essence Thomas is someone who provided an outstanding example of a crafting style of demonstrative speech.
All your items, and when you go into the app,
of course, it's up to all of you to be more proactive and continue to experiment in the way that I have done here. But don't ever be afraid to ask me a question, because the bottom line is try to improve all of your abilities as public speakers. So I'll leave it right there. We will continue on Monday of next week with demonstrative speech research. Watch all of these videos. Try to pick up on what people are doing well, as you saw with Essence, who did an outstanding job. And that was just her first of 4 graded speeches in the first summer session of 2021. But I'll show a lot of summer 1 or summer 2 speeches, because they have exactly the same amount of time to prepare as all of you. I look forward to working with you next week during the demonstrative speech preparation as for SPCH 1113, Introduction to Public Speaking, for the first summer session of 2025. That concludes our only Friday recording session for today. Have a nice, brief weekend. We will be back on Monday afternoon. So that was the end of class from last week. I really think that all of you can learn so much by muting your audio, checking the complete sentence structure, checking your eye contact, and where there might be a dead spot. Now we'll come back to me and where we started today's class. I always wait a moment because I have a number of tabs on the screen and want to make certain that I'm back. So keep in mind that for the demonstrative speech this week, you can go either on Wednesday or Thursday, but I need to have your speech video by 2 p.m. so I can have it up on the screen. I can bring in that tab, as you see with everything I'm doing here. It's like putting together a television show and then recording it for posterity, the speeches that you have sent to me during a class session. And more often than not, I will break them down more and more as the weeks go on. But right now, it's just a matter of getting your sea legs, feeling comfortable with the technology, which is why I didn't want you to really think about topics as much over the weekend other than becoming acquainted with where you want your webcam to be, how you are going to incorporate your slides, and we'll do a little bit of that tomorrow. So really pay attention to this on Blackboard, and we'll come back to this at the end of class on the student preview mode at the Blackboard website. But what I want to do now is to show you 3 different examples in terms of our overall class orientation today, session 4, which I have titled Demonstrative Speech Research. How did individuals like Essence Thomas with the crafting speech that you saw on Friday, how are these 3 individuals with exactly as much time as you have right now during the first summer session of 2025, how did they do it in 2024, 2023, and 2022? All of these are available in a playlist on my YouTube channel. Let's go back 1 year. During the first week of class, I did show you someone from 2024. Here is another individual. Emma is going to be talking about a crafting speech on DIY slime. This particular presentation on DIY slime has been around for many years with many different variations, especially made by toy manufacturers. But what Emma wanted to do here was to talk about it in a fun way. This is a demonstrative speech focusing on a craft from 1 year ago, Emma Johnson, and her topic is how to make DIY slime. Here it is. And that is the end of her speech. Emma really does an excellent job with the demonstration, because keep in mind, folks, that when you are demonstrating any type of a process, more often than not, it is going to be chronological or step by step. If there was one thing that I would change, and I intentionally have the cursor right on her webcam, make certain that when you are setting up your webcam, you don't have it in the mirror image. It had no bearing on her grade or anybody's grade in these or any other courses that utilize webcam data for any type of speech presentation. When she is showing products or holds them up to the screen, you can tell that it's reverse image because she forgot to turn the camera around. So it's not a big deal, but when you now just start to scroll back and examine her storytelling structure, the way in which she puts together her main points, her steps, doing it in a manner which makes sense to her with font consistency. Some of the colors are changing, but that's okay. They're easily readable. And just with Activator, all of that data onto the right-hand side and food coloring, you're not required to read every last word on the slide, but having the tide, having the colors, having the borax and the biotrue, it gives her an opportunity to remain extemporaneous where she's not going to talk about every last one of these items, but at least it gives her a verbal security blanket where she can look at any of these and it just reminds her of something. Eye contact is pretty consistent. All of the ingredients that you need to use. That's what I'm talking about. You can tell with anything that she's holding up to the camera that it is a reverse image. Right there, you can see the lettering of the Elmer's glue being backwards. And then the beginning of her speech, the title slide is very attractive. That was summer 1 of 2024. Now let's go back an additional year. Unmute the audio. This is Abriana. Her demonstrative topic is how to apply acrylic nails. For our DIY slime presentation, it was a little over 7 minutes. Abriana's is right about 5. Whatever works best for you, and then submit the best take. So this is Abriana Brown from 2 years ago in the summer, how to apply acrylic nails, and here it is. What I like about Abriana is a lot. You can tell that she put a lot of time and effort into this speech because she has a what I call a breezy pacing, back and forth and back and forth and back and forth, going from one slide to another, incorporating all these visuals, whatever works best for you in whatever format you choose. I say, as you know, Canva or Google Slides on the syllabus, but if you want to do PowerPoint, that's fine as well. Let me go ahead and mute the audio and just go into her last minute. Pay particular attention to all of these visuals that in the last couple of minutes are going to just be popping through the screen to give her credibility for the demonstration of trying to put together artistic nails. Now, there are some, I don't know how folks could get along, opening a car door or writing their signature on something, but it really is fascinating the links that people will go to for this particular process. She doesn't have a lot of bullet point material, but with all of the visuals that she provides, minimalistic language and the images that she places on the screen work best for her. Then she goes into the customization where it's limited to your imagination. But in this last minute, you can tell with all of the examples that she provides that there is quite a bit of imagination here. And obviously, it's going to be extremely expensive. This is why it's important that you just look at all different kinds of presentations here or on my YouTube channel. She wanted to have her particular face set up. That's the last 20 seconds. I'll pause it there. In the upper right-hand corner of the screen, I like to go bottom right, whatever works best for you. Now let's pick up our audio for the conclusion. $150 to $2,000. That is, as she said, quite expensive, but whatever makes people happy. Keeping in mind that now going back to the structure, the research, she has design consistency with the color of her slides, with the font style, not only for the bullet points or what she has on top for her headlines. So there's a consistency all the way through with color and font style and size. When you're on Loom, you can not only, as you can see, move around the webcam, as I've done, and Abriana is upper right. You can also move where you want to have the timer, so you have a pretty good idea where you stand time-wise. So now let's just quickly go from back to front, looking at her storytelling structure, what works best for her in remaining extemporaneous, and then all the way back to her title slide. So that was 2 years ago, Summer 1, 2023, how to apply acrylic nails. Our final example of the day is a cooking demonstration from the first summer session in 2022. This is a Dorito casserole. We'll unmute the audio. And she does a really nice job in bringing in outside audio at the end of the presentation and video. So whether it's crafting, as we've seen from other speeches, or with cooking, whatever makes you feel most comfortable. Our first speaker with DIY slime was over 7 minutes. Abriana was over 5. And our final speaker basically splits the difference, a little bit over 5 minutes. How to make a Dorito casserole 3 years ago, this week, and here it is. What is interesting about what Anari did is right at the end, incorporating that video clip and then making commentary while it was playing. There's nothing wrong with experimenting, so let's go back roughly to where the video begins, and you'll hear a little bit of the audio. And notice sometimes she'll make a comment, sometimes she'll let the voice on the video play, and then occasionally she will add another comment. So let's check this out. Notice she's waiting to make a comment, and then she continues to talk her way through the process. So let's pause it, go to the end, and then just continue to scroll back, paying attention to whether she is talking or not in the upper right-hand corner of the screen. But all of these steps are done in such a way to maximize her ability to describe the process and to be extemporaneous. And notice with her eye contact, whenever she's looking up for anybody, that means they're trying to think about what they want to say. Summer 1 2022 Dorito Casserole. Before that, we had summer of 2023 with the application of acrylic nails, and also from summer 1 of 2024 on DIY slime. So let's come back to me for just a moment. This is where we began class, and this location is where I'm probably going to spend a lot of time tomorrow, because in this location, and watch what happens, from this location, I can scroll through and show you all different kinds of demonstrative speech topics, demonstrative speech audio, which primarily took place during the pandemic because some kids didn't have any type of webcam, so they recorded them on audio. Tons of examples of videos as well. If I clicked on that, you would actually see the video that I showed you last week from Essence, with her topic being right here, glass music frame souvenirs. So many of these, not only will I put on my YouTube channel, I will also place on my website. How to vaccinate your dog properly from Chloe Ray. That was, I believe, first summer 2023, so that's 2 years ago. All different kinds of cooking presentations here as well. So I literally have dozens of different examples that I am going to show you tomorrow when we go to, now this will click in a different area, but the course itinerary for tomorrow is demonstrative speech topic selection. So we can deconstruct a couple of different speech outlines, because some people, as you saw with our examples just today, from 2024, then 2023, then 2022, everyone has a slightly different approach to putting together text and images. So not only can they be faithful to the demonstrative speech process, but also what's going to work for them in terms of their ability to remain extemporaneous. In my case, I will probably make, in my mind, a couple of minor errors, or maybe I'm not coming across as smooth as I would like. However, if I stopped and started over, it might not necessarily have the same positive vibe or any type of flow. So on occasion, you might just want to continue on, and as a result, it could be the take that you want to keep. Let's return to Blackboard. Today's instructor course video will be posted right down here for session 4, Monday, June 2nd. But a friendly reminder, let's close everything up, start at the top. Come back down with the syllabus, with the course speech schedule now being added. I don't care whether you speak on a Wednesday or a Thursday. At the bottom of the screen, you can see speech, videos, or their links should be sent to me no later than 2 p.m. My guess is I will slide my particular clock back and start to record every Wednesday or Thursday for the next 4 weeks for our 4 graded presentations, probably a little bit later in the day, so I can look at your work. My experience in the past, because you're not assigned on a particular day. You might want to go on day 1 for demonstrative, day 2 for informative, day 1 for persuasive, day 2 for wildcard. You may need an additional day, and that's certainly acceptable, as long as I have your link to either my SAU email address or to my Yahoo. So I'm going to go back to my Yahoo address. And I save everything. You'll notice with my name here, meaning that so many people are sending me their speeches or links to videos from their SAU email account. So if I just scroll down to a demonstrative speech video from last year, and I'll click on Mariah, that is annotating books from the summer of 2024. Now, that is something that you have not seen. If I wanted to click on this, just real quick, it opens in a separate window, and I'm waiting until it comes up on the screen. This is bonus. Let me show you a presentation from last year that you have not seen. I'll play a few seconds. Here's the transcript. Here's just a little bit of it. I'll show maybe 45 seconds. I keep all of your speeches. In fact, if you go back to my YouTube channel and examine all of my class videos, every student's course video is recorded for posterity, just like this one. Now we'll wrap it up for the day by coming back to me and reminding you what's going to be taking place one more time. With June 3rd, Tuesday, in 24 hours, we will be examining topic selection for your demonstrative speeches. Please make certain that you go to Blackboard and watch these videos. They are going to be uploaded to YouTube, but I'm putting the links on Blackboard to my original videos that I'm recording on Loom, because for some reason the interactivity, whenever I upload it to YouTube, it just doesn't look the same. As you can tell, there's all different kinds of colors that jump on the screen. It drives me crazy. But I want to show you the perfect, pristine videos, and that's what you're going to find. My guess is we're pretty close to 1 hour today, and as I show you more of your videos on Wednesday and Thursday, our class sessions will expand, but they're always there for you to examine, just like what we're doing today. Watch what those people have done in years gone by. Does that give you a little bit of a clue as to how you can best improve week by week? So if you want to go on Wednesday, that's fine. If you want to go on Thursday, that's okay too. But make certain that I get your work. Pause for effect. By 2 p.m. each Wednesday or Thursday. I look forward to working with you again this week as we resume tomorrow with session 5, which is demonstrative speech topic selection. As for SPCH 1113, Introduction to Public Speaking, for the first summer session of 2025, that concludes the recording session for today.